We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125, all social media platforms and around the world on myjournline.com. This is Joy News Prime with me, Samuel Kojo Grace. Coming up this hour, Finance Minister fails for the third time to present first quarter of 2025 budget, deepening conspiracy theories among NDC MPs about the outgoing government's intention. But with barely 2 sittings for Parliament to go on break, what exactly is accounting for the Finance Minister's continuous unexplained absence? We have more. Also, CDD Ghana reports 76 incidents recorded during the 2024 parliamentary and general elections, resulting in 6 deaths and 46 injuries. Also staying in the elections, Kwashiman School fire displaces over 3,000 learners and disrupted academic activities.
So the cracks, because it is a crime scene, as the police are describing. The whole enclave, we have more than 3,000 students on the enclave. That's the number that is out now.
Well, tonight, for the third day running, Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam has failed to present the mini budget to cater for the first quarter of 2025. This has set tongues wagging and conspiracy theories swelling among NDC MPs in Parliament. You will remember that yesterday the minority alleged a grand scheme by the government to hamstring the incoming John Mahama administration by its failure to present the expenditure in advance of appropriation, which will pay public sector salaries for the first quarter of the next year and ensure government agencies keep operating. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins with details of this. Now, Kweku, this gets interesting by the day, as was there any explanation as to why the Finance Minister has been absent?
Well, Brace, this was the most important item on the Parliament's agenda, so that the other people are right in front of me. When they go through the formalities of sitting, the main thing they wanted to go to was the mini budget. And so the Speaker of Parliament asked the majority leadership where exactly the Finance Minister was. At the time, it was Habib Idrisu, the first Deputy Majority Whip, who was in the leadership role in terms of the MPP side. And he gave the indication that it just was not ready, and the Finance Minister had not shown up. In fact, the Finance Minister himself is a member of Parliament. Between Monday and now, he has not come to Parliament as a member of Parliament or as a Minister of State to perform this obligation. Okay. On Monday, when this matter came up, the indication was that the Minister will come the next day. Yesterday, he did not show up. Osei Mensah Bonsu did indicate that the Minister will perhaps come today because of some final touches that were being made to the budget that was to be presented. So today, that was the expectation. And right after prayers and the formalities, the Speaker of Parliament asked if that item was ready to be transacted. And the majority leadership did tell that the minister was not ready. So for 3 days in a row, there has been no show by the minister. He has not shown up. And so there's no indication when exactly this is going to come. And mind you, Parliament has between today, Friday, and perhaps Monday next week to sit and wrap up and go for Christmas. This will mean that any person who works in the public sector will not get their salary in January, February, and March if no authorization is given for the Comptroller and Accountant General to draw down and pay salaries. It will mean government agencies cannot run because there will be no papers and other stationery for them to run. This will effectively lead to a government shutdown. Also, there will be no swearing in of Parliament. There will be no swearing in of the incoming president. This, according to Osei Mensah Bonsu yesterday on the floor, really have constitutional and real-life consequences for how the government operates. And that is why the expectation was that the minister would show up today, but he didn't, and there was no explanation as to why he was not available.
And you have been digging to find answers. What have you been picking up?
So there is a lot of horse trading and jostling going on currently. The government side have a lot of outstanding business. There's the matter of the $350 million worth of tax waivers that is still on the order paper. It hasn't been done. That has to do with some 1D, 1F company that the government wants to give tax exemptions. The minority have said, no way. They are not going to allow the government side get that, and they are not going to pass those tax waivers. There's another $250 million worth of loans that the government is seeking to get. The NDC says, no way. There's 140 million euros that government is looking to purchase some ships for the Ghana Navy. Again, the NDC says, no way. And then there is a matter having to do with 2 persons nominated by President Akuffo to go onto the Supreme Court. They've all been vetted. The minority say no way. They say all these businesses must be put on hold for the incoming government to come and take it over and decide whether or not it fits into its priority. And so what I understand is that they're jostling to try and get some agreement. We know that the mini budget is not a minority business, it's a government business. This is the government that has to put this on the table for the government to run. And so ordinarily they have to do this. But because the effect will be on the NDC, they are trying to have some agreement to try and see if the NDC will come close to them and be able to give them some of what they want, and then they will also give them this. This was a rumor all along, but it's now been said publicly on Monday. Alex Tete told Evans Mensah on Newsnight that if the NDC did not move on these items, they were not going to give them the mini budget. Yesterday on the floor, Carlos Ahinkra did indicate that the only way this will come is if they prioritize the tax waivers, tax exemptions, and all these issues. So there have been government functionaries and NDP MPs who have gone on the record and said this publicly. And that is what is going on currently. It is left to the leadership on both sides to try and have an agreement as whether they will give the NPP side anything for them to also get a mini budget for the 2025 first quarter.
But we do know that the president has already written to Parliament on a budgetary estimate of 3 institutions.
Yes, the Constitution mandates that the Speaker of Parliament, the Audit Service, the Judiciary, they will all have to present the budget of their respective agencies to the President for approval. Then it will ultimately be included in the budget. And so the President has since written to the Speaker approving various sums of money for these institutions. Parliament, for instance, gets a little over 450.5 million cedis, Ghana cedis, whilst the Audit Service and the Judicial Service and the Judiciary gets a little over 200 million Ghana cedis. But all this really mean nothing if the mini budget is not presented, because the Speaker of Parliament is unable to refer these budgetary allocations to the specific budget committee to deal with until or unless the specific budget itself comes, the mini budget. Then, on top of that, all that referral will be made to the budget committee. And so today, when the Speaker of Parliament did read that letter from the President, he fell short at making a referral because he can't put what the lawyers will say, he can't put something on nothing. And so the budget itself will have to come before these allocations can be included and then referred to the committee. Until then, all government institutions, including the judiciary, Parliament, the executive itself, will not get money to fund itself in the new year.
We'll keep an eye on how this particular one progresses. Grateful to you. That's Quick Asante, the Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. But first, Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joseph Owusu is making a strong push for current Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin to be retained as the leader of the MPP caucus in the next Parliament. There is currently intense jostling among senior MPP MPs, lobbying party leaders to be appointed as the caucus leader when the 9th Parliament is sworn in next year. But Joseph Owusu, who is retiring after his current term, believes for the sake of unity, the Futu MP Afenyo-Markin must be retained.
Simple. One, I'm not a member of the 9th Parliament, and nobody has asked me to do anything for the 9th Parliament. But just as a 4-term member who has worked in the House, I strongly believe in longevity and experience. From our own actions and inactions, you can tell that when Che was the minority leader and majority leader, he stood out very clearly. But it did not happen by accident. He started as a chief whip and grew up to become a leader. The longevity brings experience and clarity. So I would not support any request for a new person to be brought into the picture now. If you ask me, let Afenyo-Markin continue. He started, there's nobody who has had that experience before him. The only person who has had that experience is Honorable Chairman Sabufu. He's leaving Parliament. He has now the only person who has the sufficient, not even sufficient, but some experience which will be useful in going forward. So I would not recommend any other person. If you ask my view is that let Afenyo-Markin continue.
Joseph Owusu also says he will back Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia if he decides to run for president again despite his defeat in the 2024 election.
The way Ghanaians evaluated our performance. It's different from the way I see it. Therefore, I can't continue based on my perception or my experience only. We should take time to listen and be guided by what we hear. So that's the way I look at it. The evidence. But as we speak, everybody throwing about allegations and things is the proper word. They're just conjecturing. Let's allow ourselves time. Let's allow cool heads to come and let's get proper explanation as to what happened. There's really no justification in rushing now to claim that because of A, B, C, D's, Z happened. No, I think that will not be an appropriate evaluation of the situation we are in now. I think that's no matter. There's a process for selecting our candidate. When the time comes, the process will take him through. And I'm sure if he wishes to contest again, he is totally capable of winning.
Well, spokesperson of government's transition team, Fatimatu Abubakar, has dismissed claims by the President-elect John Mahama's transition team that it is making last-minute recruitment after losing the December 7th elections. Speaking on PM Express last night, the information minister maintained government's activities have not grinded to a halt because of its electoral defeat. Fatimatu Abubakar said the current recruitments are not new but are merely being effected. She also dismissed claims that there had been an agreement between the two transition teams to halt the recruitment process.
Let me also remind you that both my brother and myself were not originally members of the transition team. If he managed to enter the auditorium ahead of the first meeting on Wednesday, probably it was a prerogative or a discretion exercised by their side of the team to let him go and sit in as a non-member. But it was only at the first meeting of the transition team on Wednesday that the distinguished co-chairs, Honorable Julius Debra and Honorable Fremose Opare, announced that both of us are being appointed as spokespersons for each side. That being said, I know for the record that after that meeting, when I was called, the first meeting I was mandated to allow sitting was the second meeting held on Friday, last Friday.
But the President-elect's transition team is unhappy about the situation. Spokesperson for the team, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, says the government's transition team has breached the agreement to submit all significant payment and recruitment to the incoming government's transition team for consideration before implementation. Kwakye Ofosu insists the incoming government will not accept fiscal burdens outside its priorities, as he claims the Interior Ministry and other state institutions are still actively recruiting people despite exceeding their current recruitment quotas.
We have heard that hundreds of recruitments are going. As I speak, the Ministry of Interior is supposed to be undertaking the recruitment of hundreds, if not thousands, of people into the security agency. Now, we find out at the transition team meeting that at the beginning of this year, during the budgetary process, Parliament actually approved the budget with a specific ceiling for the number of people that the Ministry of Interior can recruit. We are finding out that they have exceeded that number. In some instances, we have heard or learned that due process has been circumvented because of the indecent haste to rope in these when there is legitimate suspicion that these are essentially MPP foot soldiers or supporters who they are trying to rope in quickly before they leave. Because in some instances, we have learned that basic processes, like allowing the individual's consent to send in applications, vetting the applications, carrying out interviews, asking them to do medicals before they are given appointment letters, have not been done. And yet they've been issued with appointment letters. In some cases, the appointment letters have been backdated to create the impression that this was done long before the election. Now, we don't find these as wholesome.
Now, away from that, more than 3,000 students at the Kwashiman's cluster of schools have been displaced from their current classrooms, disrupting academic activities. Now, this follows a fire that destroyed their school building, which was being used to store electoral materials for the 2024 general elections. The fire is suspected to be an act of arson. Instead of attending classes, many students are now at home, while others are loitering or waiting under the scorching sun for their turn to write exams. Joy News' Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa spent the day at the school and has come through with this report.
It's 10:30 a.m. on a hot Wednesday morning at the Kwashiman cluster of schools. Learners are seen loitering, whilst others sit on the bare ground under the scorching sun, waiting for their turn to write exams in a borrowed space nearby.
We are come to write exam, so we should stay.
But so what happened after? Did you write the exam?
Yes.
Where? Which building?
Here at our
But that's not your class.
Block.
That's your class.
No.
This is supposed to be your class.
Yes.
So you wrote the exams.
Yes.
The fire has burned all the books.
You'd all be confined there.
Yes.
And that building is what building?
The teacher's staff.
That's where you'll be at.
Yes. We are a lot.
For parents, the situation is heartbreaking.
My child attends this school, and I also run my business here. Yesterday, I asked her to take some of my things ahead to school. Not long after, she returned with the items, saying the school building was burnt. At first, I didn't believe her, but other children confirmed it. When we came to the scene, it was heartbreaking. This situation has deeply affected us, especially since the students are currently writing exams. My child is in Form 3, and this disruption is very troubling for us.
Another parent, visibly distressed, shared how the crisis is negatively impacting her work life. I'm deeply concerned about the children staying idle at home. It could take 2 to 3 months before they are called back to school, which is troubling, especially since they are in the middle of exams and examination fees has already been paid. Now, instead of learning, they'll spend their days playing at home. I have 2 children, and because of this issue, I can't go to work. I have to take them with me everywhere, which has disrupted our daily lives. The education director for the Ablekuma North Municipality, Perry Ofori, painted a grim picture of the aftermath.
That particular block, it contains one primary school at the ground floor. Then there are 2 JHS schools, one on the first floor, one on the second floor. And the ground floor where the fire was started, that place is a library. A very big library, well furnished. And then on top of that one, we have an ICT room, a science lab, and then staff office. You saw the cracks, and even some of the plastering on the wall, a lot of the place has peeled off. So in fact, the building is damaged. If you look at that particular block, it contains 2 JHS, which is double streams, plus a primary school 1 to 6. So we are talking of roughly 1,200 learners where the fire started. But now, because it is a crime scene, as the police are describing, the whole enclave, we have more than 3,000 students on the enclave. That's the number that is out now. So until they open up the place, we have about 3,000 learners who cannot have their education there on the compound.
Beyond the impact on education, residents living near the school are raising serious safety concerns.
The fire has started. We didn't. She came first. She came first inside before I opened it. So when she came in, she said, "Daddy, I've seen some men around, and one was standing just in front of our house." I said, "Oh, maybe is waiting for somebody. We sell things here, so we thought maybe it's waiting to buy something. That's affecting us in so many ways, both, I don't know, security-wise, we are feeling that we are not safe because the people who came, we don't know them. And they can send some other people to come and be making some skirmishes to hear what is going on. Okay. Like what I'm doing now. Yeah. If I may say something which goes or I mention anybody's name, you know what will happen. So me, I'm not mentioning any names. I don't know them.
For now, the fate of the school and its learners hangs in the balance. The ruins of the Kwashiman cluster of schools stands as a stark reminder of the challenges ahead, not just for the students whose education has been disrupted, but for the entire community that is grappling with safety and recovery. Reporting for Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansuma Yaboa.
Well, coalition processes still are at a standstill as the Ghana Police Service has declined to provide security for officials of the Electoral Commission. Now, the Commission on December 13 suspended collation of results for about 5 constituencies, including Dom, Kwabenya, Ablekuma North, and Sawom Addo constituencies due to increasing tension at the police training school here in Accra. Addressing the media at the CDD election report, Dr. Sribo Kwaku, head of the training department at the EC, disclosed that the police refused to provide security for the commission to resume collation today, Wednesday.
The Electoral Commission temporarily halted the recollation of parliamentary results for constituencies at the National Police Training School in Tesano, Accra, following mounting disagreements over the exercise. The collation was to address discrepancies in the results from several constituencies, including Dom Kwabenya, Ablekuma North, and Okankwe Central. At a press briefing, Dr. Sribo Kwaku, head of the training department at EC, revealed the police service has declined to provide security for the collation to continue.
Some people are saying the commission should have done A, B, C. Right now that we are here, let them come here. All of us will run away. Who will be bold enough to meet them? Who? All of us will run away. So we need to also talk of the security of the processes. Because if you don't have the security, no matter how well you prepare for it, you will come to naught. We're in a situation where even these police command themselves are being turned upside down. And the other day I was saying that now no part of the collation process is safe because they can come in at any time. The commission had wanted to even today to have a look at all these and see if you can recollate. We wrote to the IGP. They have written back to us that they cannot assure of the safety of the process. I have the letter. I just showed it to you. So, where are we now? And I don't think collating results where people know the results from the polling station should be something that we should be fighting over. So people have I can assure you, if security is provided, the Electoral Commission will declare the results of all the outstanding centers. I can assure you that. Because if we either go for hard copies or we go for soft copies, then we will get it.
Dr. Sribo Kwaku further blamed the NDC and NPP for violence that has characterized collation at various collation centers.
That from both NPP and NDC, the information we had was that by 11 to 12 o'clock, they have finished with their collation. Is that not the case? So what is the issue now? Because if you have a collation, you know the truth. You know whether your application has been accepted or rejected. So why do we then fight over results?
Dom Kwabenya, Ablekuma North, Suhum, Sawam Addo, Fantiakwa North, and Akwetia are some of the constituencies in dispute. Collins Frimpon's report read to you.
Still staying with elections, the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, in a joint report with the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, and the West Africa Network for Peace Building, WANEP, and the National Elections Response Group have reported a total of 76 incidents during the 2024 general elections. And according to the report, the incident resulted in 6 deaths and 46 injuries. There's more in this report.
The report further revealed the Ashanti region recorded 3 deaths, with 2 in the Offenso North constituency and 1 in the Ahafo and North Southwest constituency. The Savannah, Central and Northern regions each recorded 1 death. Here is Nana Kwabna Abrompa Mensah, Director in charge of Security and Sector Governance at CDD and CODEO.
In 2024, we've recorded so far 76, comprising 6 people dying, 24 vandalism, invasion of public facilities, burning, destruction, other things. Then fatal injuries so far 45. So we have recorded 76 incidents so far, which we want to validate. For my data you saw here, we have the Ashanti region, I think 3, having 2 in Akumadan, 1 in Mankranso, which is Ahafano Southwest. We had 1 in Ewutu Senya East, which is Kaswa, right? We have, I forgot, Damango, we have 1, which is Savannah region. Then we have 1 also in Nyampala, which is, I think, northern region. So this is the breakdown we have so far.
Executive Director for the Foundation for Security and Development in Africa, Mrs. Theodora Williams-Anti, condemned the violence that has marred coalition processes in some constituencies.
However, the numbers of violent incidences that we have seen and still continue to see, including deaths, especially in post-election violence, is not at all what we expected and must be condemned, and we call it very, very unfortunate.
Reverend Dr. Fred Digbe, co-chair of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, urged the Electoral Commission to digitize the transmission of results to help prevent the violence that has characterized the coalition process.
Perhaps what it is calling for is a proper digitalization of our system. From the polling station, we send it straight to somewhere. Finish. We don't need all of these things. So what is the big deal about these collation houses? We are behaving as if we are in the ancient of days, the pre-digital age, where we have to get papers and count them. No.
The police service has arrested 132 persons in connection with election violence, with 42 remanded into custody, 16 on court bail and 71 on police enquiry bail. Collins Frimpon's report read to you.
Well, away from that, the Supreme Court has unanimously dismissed a petition by journalist and lawyer Richard Delasky against the controversial Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill led by Justice Lovelace Avril Johnson. The court ruled that the bill, which seeks to criminalize LGBTQI+ related activities, is not yet law and cannot be reviewed. Mr. Sky and Amanda Odoy argued procedural flaws in Parliament rendered the bill unconstitutional, but the court upheld the legislative process, emphasizing that only enacted laws are subject to review.
Private members' bill, the Constitution specifies the way in which private members' bills should be brought. We do not believe that it was done in that way. So when the Supreme Court says that, this was like a precipitate action, with respect, we respect his decision, but we disagree because it says Parliament shall not proceed. So at what point shall Parliament not proceed? Clearly it cannot be after they passed an act. It is when they are considering it that they cannot proceed until they have done A, B, C, D. And we did not have the evidence that those procedural steps had been undertaken.
You are a human rights activist. What do you feel, what image do you think this will paint for the country, looking at this latest?
Oh, well, we still have a rule of a country which is governed by the rule of law. We went to court. The court has given its decision. They're separate arms of government. The different arms can rule differently. We can also exhaust are different remedies. But we have not seen the full judgment of the courts. They said.
Well, meanwhile, NDC MPs have welcomed the decision of the Supreme Court to dismiss actions filed against the anti-LGBTQI+ bill. Member of Parliament for Medina, Xaviasu, argues that the Supreme Court has finally done the right thing. He also says the ball is now in the court of President Akuffo to either sign the bill into law or give reasons why he cannot.
That the court just upheld the position of the law because Parliament is a legislative arm of government. The work of Parliament ends with a presidential assent. If the President does not assent, there are provisions in the Constitution that shows what the President is supposed to do. You know, convey in a memorandum to Parliament the reason for refusal to assent, for Parliament to then take further steps, whether to amend provisions of the law and so on and so forth. It is up for the President to now either assent or not assent. But whatever be the case, there's a room in the law for the President to let Parliament know the reasons for which he doesn't want to assent and which provisions of the law he has problems with and what proposals he has for Parliament. We don't have enough time. However, we'll leave it to the President and see what the President will do with this one. If this bill dies with the 8th Parliament, it won't be the only bill that dies with the old Parliament. I have introduced or initiated about 20 private bills. 3 of them have passed into law. Only one has presidential assent. Indeed, the other one that abolished death penalty in the Ghana Armed Forces has not been signed yet. It's still with the President.
Well, so that's Xaviasu there. This is still the Joy News Prime. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. The break now. President Akuffo is pledging his commitment to pursue reforms aimed at enhancing tertiary education in Ghana in the next NPP administration. Speaking at the 16th congregation at the University of Professional Studies here in Accra, the president underscored the need to position tertiary institutions in the country to compete on a global stage while equipping students with the requisite tools to thrive.
Over the past 8 years, my government has prioritized free secondary high school education, ensuring that every Ghanaian child, regardless of background, has access to quality education. Our commitment does not stop there. We're actively pursuing reforms to enhance tertiary education in Ghana, improving access, governance, and quality. These efforts aim to position institutions like UPSA to compete on a global stage while equipping students with the tools to thrive.
Well, unmatched brilliance and stunning leap in performance. That's the story of Ghana at the 2024 UCMAS International Competition in India. From just 4 trophies in 2023 to an incredible 17 this year, Ghana's youngsters have left the world in awe. Emmanuel Jivenu traveled with the team to India and has come through with this report.
Team Ghana, let's hear it for them. Bronze Cup winners. Participants are Shaurya Gurbani, Asidu Michelia, Yeboah Yuan Asua, Osafo Edeji Samuel Bin Kawane.
Ghana's red, yellow, and green soared high at the 31st edition of the UCMAS International Competition in India, competing against more than 6,000 young minds from 30 countries, from 4 to 17 trophies in 1 year. That's the story of great growth and greatness.
Afram Ahmad Gildia from Ghana, Amata Godslow Bubuni from Ghana, Ando Jason Naeme from Ghana, Asamoah Dua Pauline from Ghana, Diboro Precious Akosua from Ghana.
The 4 categories they competed in, A1, A2, B, and D, tested mental arithmetics and abacus skills to the limit.
I was so
scared. My heart was beating so fast. I was like, if I don't get this trophy, what will happen to me? What will happen to me? But luckily, today, I got this champion trophy, all thanks to God.
I am proud to be a Ghanaian, to be a student of Rice Montessori School, to make everyone proud that I got a trophy on my first time of an international competition.
It's very exciting to do UCMAS, and it helps you to be a mathematician when you grow up.
I won this trophy for my family, my country, and my school.
Ghana's youngsters did not just compete, they conquered. Their grit was evident even on their grueling 2-day flight to India, where they continued to practice tirelessly.
I even cried yesterday because I reached 184 over 200. I cried. I was not even able to eat. I was praying. The next day when we checked, they told me that I've won the competition. I was very excited and happy.
I put a lot of hard work into it, and I practiced about hundreds of papers to get this trophy.
I also thank my siblings, my teachers, my friends for all the support they have given to me to come here to get this far.
Couldn't have done this without all my supporters, as well as my parents, my friends, and my teachers. I would like to dedicate this trophy and everything to my parents and my instructor.
I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. I'm proud to be a Ghanaian. Thanks to everyone for helping us do it. We are bringing the trophies home. It's for Ghana.
This year's success did not happen by chance. It was the result of a dedicated support system of trainers, parents, and the technical team at Moria Education Limited, the face of UCMAS in Ghana. Their business development director, Roger Ohimi, received a special recognition on behalf of the institution for pushing the frontiers of UCMAS in Ghana.
I give thanks to the technical team for the great and wonderful work they did. Last year was a lesson to us. Though we did well, we came more prepared this year, and we wanted to make Mother Ghana proud, of which the outcome is a clear indication of our achievement and our hard work over the period.
The echoes of success may have faded at the UCMAS arena, but for Team Ghana, the celebrations are just beginning as they return home in few days' time. Emmanuel Jivenu, New Delhi, India. Joy Pride.
And money forevermore. Hip, hip, hip. Hooray!
Well, let's do Christmas now, because Christmas is a special time of the year for a lot of Ghanaians, and not just because it's the celebration of the birth of Christ. It's a lot of things that we do, on that particular day and period. My colleague Esther Nkrumah visited the bustling street of Osu to interact with patrons to find out what makes Christmas special to them.
When you see the streets of Accra and major roundabouts lit up with glittering fairy lights and beautiful decorations, you know it's that time of the year again, Christmas.
Come and behold him, born the King of angels.
Christmas is a favorite time of the year for many people. For some, it's more than just a religious significance. It's a time to show love to others, bond with family, and well, it's about the excitement of receiving hampers from employers and loved ones. And not to forget the much-deserved break from work.
We're here on the vibrant streets of Osu to find out what makes Christmas truly special to people. Is it the joy that comes from giving, the warmth from family, or perhaps something special? We'll find out.
We individuals, we normally see that as a whole year that you've been alive, then as the year is going to end, you need to give thanks to God, and at the same time, to celebrate with your family. Just gather your family and then just show some love and make them happy. Yeah.
So for you, Christmas is about Thanksgiving and also celebrating with family.
Yeah, exactly, because Christmas, for the whole year that since you've not been in a hospital and then if not encountered any issue, then you need to give thanks to the Lord, because it's not everyone who got it.
You use that holiday season to reconcile with families,
spend some time together, and it's also something good. Yeah. But to me, being alive alone, get to spend time with families and friends that I haven't seen for a long time alone is enough for me.
The presents.
The present. How about you?
Okay, for me, during Christmas, most family come together to celebrate. So I think family from different parts of the world, they all come together. So it's like a family reunion for me.
Okay. So for you, it's family. And for you, it's a present. Yeah. So what present do you want this Christmas? In case your parents are watching you.
Okay, so I need a new headset.
And for others, it's about the food and the Christmas decorations.
About the Christmas tree, when you see it, you know that yes, Christmas is on. And about the Santa dressing, it's so beautiful and nice. You see it and it's all fun and you are laughing. You're like, yeah, people are happy and it's nice.
Mine is the food. You see people, that's when delicious meals and the food, you bring out your cooking skills. So yeah, you eat correct food.
What's your favorite Christmas meal?
Most people like the rice with the chicken and stuff, but I would like to go with the fufu. You see the fufu? Yes.
Some nice fufu and some very good goat light soup.
Yes.
Whether it's the food, spending time with family, or the beautiful Christmas decor, one thing is certain: Christmas holds a special place in our hearts. For Joy News, Esther AC Nkrumah's report.
All right, so you saw the lady trying to sing there. I don't know what she was singing, but she's here. Hi, Becky. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, I must say, you look good in this attire.
Oh, thank you so much.
But
I borrowed it from my sister.
Because I was going to ask you if this is for you.
Yeah, I borrowed it from my elder sister. Is it looking nice?
That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. But let's begin the show on a sad
that
note.
promo, what are you doing? Were you singing?
It's the musical band series
Were you
coming.
singing?
Yeah, I was singing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm the lead vocalist for a musician.
Okay.
Too sure. But this evening, let's begin on a sad note. Ghanaian actress Mercy Little Smith, widely known for her role as Bawumia in the popular TV show Ifira, has died. She passed away on December 17, 2024, with the news confirmed via the official Ifira Facebook page on December 18. The post shared by the show's official page read, "R.I.P. Bawumia, she left the earth plane yesterday." By the cause of her death has not been revealed. Mercy Little Smith was best known for her portrayal of Bawumia, a character celebrated for her larger-than-life personality and as the wife of lawyer Kabu from the Apoto Iowa Chambers. Her performance in Ifira won her a special place in the hearts of viewers, making her an iconic figure in Ghanaian television. Also, Ghana's music industry also has been hit with the news of the passing of Mary Na Amanua Dodu, affectionately known as Na Amanua, a legendary figure in the Ghana traditional music and folklore. Na Amanua, whose extraordinary voice and artistry earned her national acclaim, was best known as the lead female vocalist of Wulome, the iconic Ghana music group founded in 1973. Her unique sound and soul-stirring performances played a key role in preserving and promoting indigenous Ghanaian music, making her a revered culture treasure. Her dedication to traditional sounds and her role as a storyteller through music has earned her the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2018 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, a testament to her enduring impact of the creative arts industry. May her soul rest in peace. Before we go, celebrated Jamaican reggae artist Hezron is urging music awards organizers to consider separating the reggae music from the dancehall music to encourage artists who do such genre to do more. Reflecting on the Ghana reggae and dancehall music industry, Hezron insists dancehall is different from reggae with different cultures, hence must not be combined to confuse the artists.
That's me personally. Dancehall is different from reggae. Dancehall is different from reggae. You know, reggae music is reggae music and dancehall. What I do is reggae music. What I do is reggae music. What Chronix does is reggae music. What Beres Amman does is reggae music. What Bob Marley does is reggae music. What, you know me, I can't, the list can go on. What Beanie Man do is dancehall. What Popcorn do is dancehall. What you know what I mean? It's a clear difference. So I don't see why, you know what I mean? It's too different.
One in my house in row, we're just ending the show right here. Why are you laughing? The patois is not coming, but please log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you're going to find all the news, the entertainment news, and we're going to Jamaica one of these days. We're out of it.
Bombo